did her best to run that nursery. She didn't want anybody else to do it some more. Her and I never had an argument. Once. One time. And she put me in my place. And we never had enough. At one time before we were married, she was working at CCAP as a parent involvement coach. And she had a huge closet where she lived. She had over 100 pair of shoes and purses to match. And wherever we went, she'd go to sales and look for Casper suits. She had a bunch of them. She wrote letters to some of her grandkids and put them in a box in her home so they could handle that close. I didn't know she was doing it, but she did it. We, at one point, when we lived on Jackson Street, she wanted a daycare for little kids, 0 to 4 or 5. So she did it. She had a daycare there. And at one point, several years later, she got sick because you know you get ill from little kids. She got very sick, and I had to put her in a hospital. She went to Girard to the hospital, and her daughter was here in Pittsburgh at the hospital. So I had to tell the people that daycare was closed because she just couldn't go anymore. She couldn't find a replacement. But she loved kids so much. There was no kid that she didn't love. I mean, every one of them. Kid could have 4 eyes and 6 arms. She wouldn't care to love them children. She never missed a birthday. She had a list there in our home with all the names on it and everybody's birthday. So she didn't miss it. And if she could not get to the store to get a birthday card, she seen me. I said, I can't buy birthday cards for everybody. Yes, you can. She got a lot of recipes at home. So some of you, if you wanted to know what to do, you can copy them down. Oh. Back when we was living there in Jackson Street, Canada was pretty small. And so she didn't, for some reason, I built her a bunk bed. And she looked at it and she said, it's not big enough. I can't walk under it. So I had to build it so that she could walk under it. And I had to paint it pink. And so one day I'll come down and walk down the hallway and I looked in there. Here's Kimberly and Shirley up there in that bunk bed watching videos. I said, how'd you get up there? There was a little ladder. She just climbed up there. When Jackson bought our property when the Millers bought the property on Jackson Street, they were going to leave us sitting there in the corner and not buy us out. And I did my best to get them to buy us out. I said, no, I didn't want to. So she said, you mind if I go talk to them? I said, no, I don't know. 10 minutes after she got home, knocking on the door, and they made us a very generous offer. Never underestimate tired woman. She was a very, very wonderful person, and I'm blessed to have known her and be her husband.
Thank you, Ralph, for those words. And now, as I was asked by Ralph, I will read a poem, and it is by an unknown author. So I'll lend you for a little time a child of mine, he said, for you to love the while she lives, mourn her when she's dead. Maybe through 6 or 7 years, or 22 or 3, but will you, till I call her back, take care of her for me? She'll bring her charms to gladden you, and should her stay be brief. You'll have her lovely memories as solace for your grief. I cannot promise she will stay, for all from earth return. But there are lessons taught down there I want this child to learn. Now will you give her all your love, nor think the labor vain, nor hate me when I come to call to take her back again? I fancy that I heard them say, Dear Lord, thy will be done. For all the joy thy child will bring, the risk of grief will run. We'll shelter her with tenderness, we'll love her while we may, and for the happiness we've known, forever grateful stay. But shall the angels call her much sooner than we plan, we'll brave the bitter grief that comes and try to understand. Not only did Shirley learn things, but I think that we can learn some things from her, from the life that she lived. Several things from her life she lived. How she loved life, how she was kind, how she was encouraging, how she loved her church, how she loved her family, how she loved the children, and how she ultimately loved God. Today we are remembering the legacy that Shirley leaves with us. She taught us how we should love one another, not just family, but also friends and even strangers. Matthew chapter 25, verses 40 through 45 says, The king will reply, Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of these, the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. Then he will say to those on his left, Depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes, and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison, and you did not look after me. And they will answer, Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty, or a stranger, or needing clothes, or sick, or in prison, and did not help you? And he will reply, Truly I tell to you, whatever you did not do for one of these least of these, you did not do for me. Now this is not what about Shirley didn't do, but what about Shirley did do. This is exactly what she did. She took care of those that were a stranger to her. There was probably no stranger here in the church whenever people would come in and they were new, she would be one of the first people to go and welcome them in. They weren't strangers. She took care of the children, as we have said numerous times. She took care of children, and she took care of those in the church. She took care of her friends. She took care of her family. She took care of all of these things. Didn't matter if they were different, and she never shied away from anyone. She didn't look down on them. She didn't, point down at them and think real bad things about them, but instead she sowed seeds of encouragement, kindness, and ultimately exhibited love. Ultimately, from the life she lived, we can learn how to love one another. The Bible does speak about what love is and how important it is. In 1 Corinthians chapter 13, it says, If I could speak all the languages of earth and angels, but didn't love others, I would only be a noisy gong or clanging cymbals. If I had the gift of prophecy, and if I understood all of God's secret plans and possessed all the knowledge, and if I had the faith to move that I could move mountains, but didn't love others, I would be nothing. If I gave everything I have to the poor and even sacrificed my body, I can boast about it. But if I didn't love others, I would gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind, love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way, it is not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wrong. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up and never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through. I mean, she was married to Ralph for a little bit. But she still always showed others what true love is. Taking care of the needy, taking care of the poor in spirit, taking care of those around her. Proverbs chapter 31 talks about a wife